The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised. Peace be unto you. I'm Sister Charlene Muhammad. Welcome to Liberated Sisters. Today our topic is Nation Town. We have the managers of Nation Town TV and store right here in the studio. I'm so excited for you to talk to them. Brother Landon X. Collins and his beautiful wife, Sister Shana Joy X, right out of the Western region, Muhammad Mosque, number 27, our Nation of Islam's headquarters. We're going to be talking to them about doing for self and more. But first, the Justice Report. Today's Justice Report comes right out of the Final Call newspaper. You know, Sister Charlene Muhammad loves to bring you the news and views from the boldest, baddest, most independent black newspaper published weekly in the country by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his staff, Editor-in-Chief Richard Muhammad, Managing Editor Sister Starla Muhammad, and a bevy of senior editors and writers and production team executives. We appreciate you all at the Final Call. FinalCall.com is where you can read this cover story by Brother Brian 18X Crawford. He talks about the traumatization of black people, and his cover story says that black people are born traumatized. You see the cover right there, Slavery's Hellish Holdover. In it, Brother Brian talks about how many black men and women today understand the social climate that they're living in, and that it's a time between when tension between black and white grows more intense with each day. This current presidential administration's policies, combined with centuries of systemic abuse and mistreatment by law enforcement and the judicial system, seems to have altered the way black people think and behave. But in the story, he goes into how that is carried on from generation to generation to generation. And so thank you, Brother Brian 18X Crawford. You will also find in the Final Call, I wrote a story about this presidential elections, that we see all these campaigns going on right now. What's the buzzword among Democrats who are heavily courting blacks, and what's in it for us? And also in the Final Call this week, which we will, God willing, very soon be bringing Uncle Bobby Cephas X Johnson, and Sister Beatrice X, the aunt and uncle of Oscar Grant III, who was killed by a former BART officer in Oakland in 2009. They're going to be here to talk about this new law that was just signed by California Governor Gavin Newsom. Families United for Justice and many other victims of police violence, their families stumped pretty hard for this. We're going to talk to them about this bill being signed and what does that mean. There's a new police reform law in California. That's in the Final Call newspaper as well, and that's the Justice Report. We're going to turn now to the Farrakhan factor.
I was told to deliver this message. You think you're invincible because you got money, bombs, guns, and planes, killing babies, innocent people. I think you're insane. Chaos and destruction is the name of your game. Somebody's got to stop you before the whole world goes up in flames. So he told me to tell you, I'll fight you.
For my brothers, we can go to war. Fighting for my father, I will give my life for. I feel so alone in this white man's world.
In this Farrakhan factor, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, in his own words, leads the way into our dialogue with Nation Town TV representatives about economic empowerment. Here's an excerpt from Minister Farrakhan's message.
Educational picture. Our black boys and girls, particularly our boys, are leaving high school. Okay? So the challenge is an education that enlivens us to do business. Business is the activity of life itself. You do not have to teach a worm what to do to survive. And that's a worm. You don't have to teach a flea what to do to survive. Every creature is born with the inherent ability to attract out of this material earth what it needs to perpetuate its species. If we are made in the image and the likeness of God, something is wrong with this picture. That you don't know how to make something happen for yourself. And if white people don't make it happen for us, then we want to pick it, we want to lay down, sit in, crawl in, wade in. Hell no! Excuse me. Nobody respects a beggar. Excuse me. You have the ability, the capability to do something for yourself. So we have many mayors, which is a blessing. We have 43 or 44 congresspersons, which is a blessing. We have sheriffs, we have city councilmen, we have wonderful political progress in one sense. But politics without economics is symbol without substance. So what good is it to be the black mayor over somebody else's reality? And if you don't govern their reality right, they move you out. Travel to Africa and tell me if I'm lying. They sing out their national anthem. They salute their flag. They salute their new president. But who's running the economics of the country? Mandela, our great brother, symbol without substance. The same people that own the diamond mines, that own the gold mines, that own the economy before Mandela, own it still. See? So the challenge is to create a new educational paradigm. It's not outside of our grasp to do that because this educational system is a failure. Don't worry about trying to transform it. Forget it. It was never designed to serve you well. The philosophers, Dewey, Kant, Hegel, these were racists, white supremacists. They didn't want to educate you to be equal with them. You must be educated to continue to look up to them, to serve them, to bow to them, to acquiesce to their scholarship. Never to be independent. Never to think independently that you can do something without their blessing. like a true slave. Is it all right, Master? Can I go here, fair can, today? I ain't really gonna applaud or nothing, because I don't want the press to see me applauding. This is not Southern mentality. This is Negro mentality, that you're always thinking of what's going to please somebody else rather than what will be pleasing to you and your children and our future. This is why at the Millions More movement, we proposed a ministry of education.
Minister Farrakhan goes on to talk about why we propose the Ministry of Education at the Millions More movement. You can buy that lecture and many others at store.finalcall.com and visit NOI.org to hear Minister Farrakhan, as well as his great helpers, student ministers like his National Assistant Student Minister Ishmael Muhammad, every Sunday and more. So that's the Farrakhan Factor. I'm Sister Charlene Muhammad. We're going to turn now in studio to two, oh my God, a beautiful young couple. Muhammad's family is right here in studio. Brother Landon X Collins and his wife, Sister Shauna Joy X, and they're going to talk to us about how they are doing just what we heard Minister Farrakhan talk about, which is building, doing for self, and not depending on others. They run Nation Town. They are the managers of it. I would dare say the founders, but we're going to talk to them about what is Nation Town. Assalamu alaikum, brother and sister.
Wa alaikum salam, beloved.
How are you both doing?
Blessed by Allah's grace.
Good. Thank you both for joining. I'm so happy that we're able to make it happen. I know you're working, you're entrepreneurs, you run a lot, and you do so much for our Western Region headquarters, and so I appreciate you
we
so
appreciate
much.
you, beloved.
Yeah.
All praise belongs to Allah.
Praise be.
Likewise.
Yeah, thank you. So tell us, what is Nation Town? I want to start with you, Brother Landon.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
is Nation Town?
Well, first of all, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who appeared to us in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. I further bear witness that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is indeed his messenger, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that beautiful brother we just heard from.
That's right.
Is our divine leader, teacher, and guide. And where it comes from, dear sister, that's a great question. When I said that the minister was our guide, he's constantly guided us toward independence, toward doing for self. He guides his student ministers in the same fashion. And for ministers and student ministers, their job, as I understand it, is just to deliver a clear message. Because whatever you do, you have to sit down and meet and talk about it and lay it out before it's actually done. And our beloved Western Regional Minister and Representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Minister Abdul Malik Saeed Muhammad, formerly known as Minister Tony, he laid out a vision that just kind of, it just hit my mind like a lightning bolt. When he put two words together, he said, Nation Town. And I felt like there should be a Nation Town in every city. Now, when you are thinking of something and it's just a plan or a dream or an idea, you know, that's just the beginning. And it has to become real to some degree.
Yeah.
So what we did with Nation Town TV, myself, my wife, I also want to give a shout out to Brother Alfonso X, you know,
That's right.
You know, who's my
Sounds
right
like a
hand
brother
man in
Alfonso.
the inception. We just decided we were not only going to have a social media presence, you know, under the name Nation Town, but also get some type of business started along with it, so those two things can go hand in hand. So that was the inception of it. It was really the brainchild of Minister Abdul Malik from the overall directives of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And as believers, whenever we get a message from our ministers, it's up to us to move out on it. So that was the inception of it.
Praise be to Allah. You all moved out very swiftly, because if I, kind of mentally recall correctly, you arrived in the city from
Originally from Atlanta. I was born and raised in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The home
out.
of Black Wall Street.
Oh, wow.
First
Well, makes
17
sense.
years of my life.
You
then
make
I moved
sense.
to Atlanta. Then I moved here.
Yeah.
So when I got here, I immediately fell in love with the mosque family,
Yeah.
believers like yourself,
Praise
your
be
husband,
to Allah.
who's man, he's already, first of all, my big brother, Brother Ali, I'm speaking of,
Alhamdulillah.
and also my uncle, and in a lot of ways, my counsel, because his experience of almost the same span of my lifetime in this work, it has been very valuable in me, in the steps that we've taken with Nation Town. Not only the great things that have been done in the last 40 plus years under the minister, but even some of the mistakes that have been made. I can pick Brother Ali's brain as well as other veteran believers,
right,
and be able to avoid pitfalls that otherwise, I would have busted my head on. So
wonderful.
So I want to give a shout out to the believers at Muhammad Mosque number 27, because we feed off of them.
Praise be to Allah. I thank you, because when Tulsa, okay, and you, Austin.
Well, I'm actually born and raised Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, wow. Okay, Shauna Joy.
Yes, ma'am. But I came here when I married Brother Landon from Texas. I came in the nation.
Waxahachie. Not Austin, Waxahachie. That's right.
Yes,
Shout out
ma'am.
Waxahachie.
Shout out
Waxahachie.
Yes, ma'am.
Shut down that very disrespectful beauty supply store.
Yes,
and put you all on the map for that and other things. But, okay, so I said that to say I just remember seeing you.
Yes, ma'am.
Then I remember seeing your wife. I said, well, he just got a wife. And now Nation Town is like, bam! As well as an app. So I just saw you come in and just hit the ground running, which means that you were doing what you were doing where you were, clearly.
Right.
Workers.
Yes,
it's not like somebody just wakes up one day and becomes a producer.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Sister Shauna Joy, how has that been for you, being a very intricate part of creating something which not only is Nation Town, that has a television, right, station, which you put forth very good product, a lot of great content on the current events of the day. You come out of the Final Call newspaper and other news agencies, but also you talk about Black love and the courtship process under the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and it's just really well-rounded. I like your team, and I like what you do, your look, your talk, your message above all. How is that being a part of this dynamic duo?
Yes, ma'am. Well, let me open up. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who came to us in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom all praises are due forever. Yes. I further bear witness that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the exalted Christ and first begotten of the dead, and that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is their mercy and divine warner in our midst today. And it is in those most righteous and holy names that I greet everyone in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
It has been such a blessing to come into a relationship, a new mosque, and come into this experience of building Nation Town and branching out in different things, because it's really helped me to thrive in my creativity and my godship. Allah, God, is a creator. He is the creator, the definite article. And for myself as a woman, we're blessed to have two wombs. The first womb of our mind and our physical womb, the uterus. So to, your womb, the uterus, that's like common. It's like, hey, we know women can give birth. But to really work the womb of your mind and see these ideas come to life for something so purposeful and meaningful as to resurrect the Black man and woman of America, as to, bring forth, a new world, a new government of peace. Know that I'm doing something with substance and meaning that's going to last beyond my years. That it's just priceless for me. Yeah. And it's a challenge on a daily basis, because you're working on a daily basis, but it's a beautiful struggle.
That's right.
It's awesome, because, no matter what comes your way, and this one challenges me right here. He pushes me to the limit and past it. He'll say, think like a Muslim, let's get it done like a Muslim. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I can't do that. And he will push me.
Wow,
and through
awesome.
that encouragement and that pushing, we see these things come forth. So I'm blessed. I'm just truly blessed to be able to serve. I'm blessed to have a partner, a husband that serves as well. So, we're just striving to do what's right, striving to be in accord with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we're blessed to be here, like my husband mentioned, with Minister, formerly Tony Muhammad, but Minister Abdul Malik Saeed Muhammad, who is so in line with the minister.
Yes.
So we know what we receive from him, those marching orders, might as well be coming from the mouth of the minister.
Directly.
So we just strive to move out on those orders and hear and obey in the best manner that, we know fit, in the best manner that I can, maneuver in my abilities.
That's
but
right.
It's really helping to cultivate my abilities and just show me, okay, I'm a God. I got a little force and power too.
Man, you're God. Shana Joy, it rains through you, I'm telling you. And you're right. Brother Abdul Malik brings it back, doesn't he? I mean, when you can say something, sometimes it's the purity of the heart. And it quickens the spirit, and you could tell because of the move out,
Yes,
and speaking of your gifts and talents, I forgot to give a picture. I'll get a picture of the app, but Sister created an app. A complete app. I've been wanting an app for the 22 years I've been in media. Sister got an idea. They cultivated, as she said, the encouragement of her great husband here, and no fear and no when I say fear, it's like we won't be made afraid, but just crushing through that barrier, pushing through it. And so I want you to talk about the Nation Town app that you created. How was that process? And also for you both to talk about what you offer on Nation Town and how the people receive you.
Yes, ma'am. Well, again, I have to really throw it back to our wonderful, our beloved Western Regional Student Minister, Abdul Malik Saeed Muhammad. The idea for the app actually, years ago, before I came into the nation, I was in the world. I wanted to make an app, but I was like, I'm going to have to go back to school, and I don't want to get more debt. I'm like, it's just too much. This is too much. I shelved it. But again, when you come into the nation, we realize, when we lose this fear and we realize who we are and the God mind and the potential, it just fuels you. So I was actually in an executive board meeting. We were in meetings with Minister Abdul Malik, and he was talking about how he wants to promote and things of this nature and this, that, and the other. I was like, well, I can't afford to get a billboard just yet. One of these good days, but what can I do? And that app came back to my mind, and I'm like, well, let me see, let me try. And I had the right fuel. It was something that is worthwhile. So I've moved out on it. It took a long time.
How long did it take? What was the duration?
Gosh, it was about 6 to 9 months.
That's
it took
it.
That's it.
You had any app
app
building experience before then?
No, ma'am.
She said 6 to 9 months.
Oh my gosh,
That's
it was
great.
a trying 6 to 9 months. I shelved it. I had to come back to it and tinker and but it was a really beautiful experience because I had the goal in mind to push the life-giving teachings in the best manner that I could. The brothers are so blessed to be able to go out and
door to door,
get their feet on the streets and touch our people. My sister, she's so blessed, and you're such a motivation as well.
Praise
with her pumps on the ground. So I'm like, okay, I can't get in there like that. How can I do this? So, I just wanted an avenue. So, I mean, the app, I really had to give praise to everyone in the nation, everyone in Mosque 27, because if you look on the app, it's a compilation of the believers' works. This is you all.
Wow.
We're blessed to have a nation. It's not just, a saying, Nation of Islam. We are literally a nation within a nation. Yeah. And it was my idea was to showcase what we have and what we do and put it out there for everyone to be able to, if you can't make it to a mosque, now you got a mosque in your pocket.
That's right.
Pick it up and get connected.
Pocket mosque.
Pocket mosque. Yes, ma'am. So I'm just blessed to have had the opportunity, and to have the guiding light to give me the foresight to bring that back to my mind. Hey, do an app, not for what you wanted to do it for before, but do it for God, do it for Allah, do it for your people.
Wow, praise be to Allah. There's the app right there.
Yes, ma'am.
How can people get the app? They're loving it. Oh my God, the Pocket Mosque.
Yeah.
How can people get the app?
Yes, ma'am. The app is free, available on download from Apple and Google platforms. So if you can just go to your Apple store or your Google store, and all you have to do is type in Mosque 27, and it'll pop right up. You'll see that NOI, that star and crescent, Mosque 27 LA. And this is not just a Mosque number 27 mosque, or app rather. We are striving to put forth the information and what's going on all over your nation, our nation. I'm here at 27, so I'm going to throw it up to my mosque.
That's right. That's right.
Always, because we have so much talent here, and it's such a blessing. However, we're at abundance of talent in the nation of Islam, period. So I want to put that on display, and you'll see that in the events, and you'll see that with, when you get your notifications of Dr. Ava and her show on Thursday.
Yes, Elevated Places.
Yes, ma'am. I love it. And so go ahead and download the app. Check your notifications on a daily basis, because I'm binging you every day. And
it's a great thing. It's not like,
right.
It's a good thing.
And just stay connected.
Yeah.
And, learn more about your nation of Islam, so that we can break down walls of barriers that come from mystery when we don't know. So let's get the knowledge so that we know that we are one, whether you're Christian, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Orthodox Muslim. Look, we're one. You're Aboriginal, you're oppressed, we're one, and we're striving to work together for a common cause of peace and unity.
Wow. Thank you, Sister Shauna Joy. As we continue, I want to let you know Facebook families responding. Sister Edith Malachi X. Yes, I have my app. Thank you, Sister Edith. Get the app. Beachy X Keaton. That is so awesome. Thank you, beautiful young couple. You are the very best. People are saying that they love the show. They love the app. And thank you so much. And so, Nation Town, we have a table. Beautiful products laid out well. You're just really classy, and you present what we have in such a great standard, a great way. Talk to us about what people could get at Nation Town.
Well, if you go to nationtownstore.com, we have what I call, the Nation of Islam staples. Whenever our people, our beautiful Aboriginal people, even Caucasians, when they see this bow tie and they see the suit, they think paper and they think pie. So the main thing we have is the world famous bean pie, which can be shipped nationwide if necessary. All of that information is on the website. We also have our Eden Fresh products. Eden Fresh is a resurrected version of the Clean and Fresh that was introduced in the 80s by the Nation of Islam. It's based out of Atlanta. We have some believers in Atlanta pushing that. I believe in Atlanta as well as in Alabama. And I become the Western region distributor of Eden Fresh, and it's 100% black owned, 100% natural, straight from the nation. You could trust us, or you could trust our products. Right. And then we also have apparel and merchandise on there as well. So from T-shirts to hats, the whole nine. So all of that is on nationtownstore.com, and by the grace of Allah, that's become the main outlet of our products. But I don't forget where I come from, so I make sure I prop up that table every weekend at the mosque.
Right, it has those papers and pies, but there's something else on that table that a lot of people, like my daughter, rush those what?
Yeah, the cookies.
Yes, ma'am.
Those oatmeal and chocolate chip cookies.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That is wonderful. And so, how does it feel to be doing for self this way with our own products? Talk about that, and talk about the importance of that.
Well, doing for self is real life reparations. and it's real life separation. It's real. I mean, it's a science. When we talk about reparations, when we talk about separating, those are two great topics, two things that we have to do as Aboriginal people, not just believers in the Nation of Islam. But it's not. The minister used a term that's just so brilliant. He said, when you just sit around, begging our oppressor for a check or whatever it is you're begging him for, that's reparations masturbation. And I don't
put it out
not
there.
to be vulgar, but that's essentially
real.
what you're doing. It's not real. There's no real work being done. There's nothing that you're actually applying. So doing for self is the best way toward separation and the best way toward reparations. You can't separate from an oppressor if you still rely on that oppressor for food, clothing, and shelter.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just impossible.
Yeah.
So at some point you have to steal yourself away. And by the grace of Allah, and for me, I had been studying, the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, on and off for the better part of about 20 years before I decided to stop playing and fall into the ranks. And one of the things that caught my ear in that time frame was the emphasis that the minister put on stealing away.
That's right.
Which doesn't mean just walking to your job one day, telling off your white boss and then slamming the door and walking out, and then you trying to figure out what to do.
Burning a bridge.
Yeah, burning that bridge, that's
blowing up a bridge.
That's a hell of a motivation, but you don't want to do it that way. You want to, come up with the ideas and start while you're still working. While you're still, working for the oppressor, start, putting pieces together, and then when you see it reach a point where you can float on that, it has the buoyancy for you to survive on that. Then that's when you walk away, and that's when you tell your Caucasian boss about him. No, I'm just no, but it's a process, and it's a beautiful process. It is a struggle, but like anything, it also takes knowledge and understanding. It's not something that you can just do. You don't do anything else of any value, without some type of study, without knowing what you're doing, without talking to people who've already done it. You have to understand the science of it and how to go about it, so that way you don't have to find yourself going back with your tail between your legs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, and since you mentioned how, the table on Sundays is, organized, and my husband mentioned steal away, when you're stealing away, you take the knowledge that you're receiving from that employer. You're getting paid twice because you're gradually taking on the knowledge of observe the white man, he is successful.
Observe his
So
operations.
you're observing his operations. Keep a notepad. And, that's something that he did. And when you see that table, he before he stole away with a lot of knowledge as well, from his past experience and his previous employment for the white man, and now you see him utilizing that for ourselves and it being successful.
Yeah.
And, that's something that I was blessed to see, firsthand as well when I came in and, we started working together, and he was instilling that in me because this was the first time I had become an entrepreneur, in our marriage. So I was like, wow. And I'm learning from him, and, he took something and he just transformed that knowledge in a way that now we're using it for ourselves, and it's just a blessing. And it kind of brought me back to your previous show with our brother with the tag team.
Oh, Brother Delzino.
Yes,
Shout out to Brother Delzino and his wife, Debbie Wilson Debriano, and Tag Team Marketers. The Buy Black Movement Tag Team Marketing had a very successful convention this weekend. Don't lose your point. As a matter of fact, I missed our great event here at Morris Media Studios. Sister Felicia celebrated on Saturday 5 years, and I need a manager because I forgot. And I'd been promoting it and promoting the convention and was there. But congratulations, Sister Felicia and Morris Media Studios. But yes.
Yes, that brought me back to them. I listened to their story. They were teaching and getting taught and trained under a white man, and they just took that information revelation and applied it to us, made some tweaks to it, you know, and, you know, they stole away as well. So it can be done. It's being done.
Yeah.
We just need to do it more in a collective manner. But, you know, I think that now is the time. You know, now is definitely the time. And we're going to continue to see more growth, you know, not just with Nation Town, inshallah, but also with Tag Team and other, you know, little pop-ups around the whole nation. Because, you know, we have the knowledge and we have the potential. And we just need to see others doing it, see it being done, and, you know, just jump right on because we're getting tired. We're getting tired of this world.
And it's falling. And we must support each other. I mean, it's a mandate. We can't just say it. We have to do it. I want to say as we continue with you both, I want to give the direct quote from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So, in Message to the Black Man on page 174, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad instructed us in his economic blueprint to observe the operations of the white man. He is successful. He makes no excuses for his failures. He works hard in a collective manner. You do the same. That's part of the quote, right? Minister Farrakhan, in an excerpt of a message that he delivered to us, said, "Does that sound like a racist or a hater to you? No. Now, you can dislike white folk. That's entirely up to you." But Elijah Muhammad was saying, get past that and observe the operations of a man that has captured the world and made the world bow down to his way of civilization. That is in the Final Call, finalcall.com, under Business is Warfare. You can go pull that right up in the Final Call and read that entire article. But I wanted to say that because this is exactly what we're saying. And as we continue with you both for the land, and I want to just make a point here. He said observe the operations, right? And Brother Landon and Sister Shauna Joy are saying steal away is what we're taught. Not steal the white man's product.
Right?
Please emphasize.
Not steal his paper or his pens or his coffee or his sparks.
I'm taking this mug with me.
The mug. Steal away. Don't steal the things. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
I just had to put that in there.
No, you have to. Take that disclaimer. Yes,
go ahead.
ma'am.
So at any rate, and so now I want to just talk a little bit about something that's in the works. Affordable transitional living.
Yes,
right?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's talk about that plan because we need that as we see, you know, we can talk about this homeless crises. The politicians, local, state, and federal are talking about it. The so-called throwing money and policing at it. It's not happening correctly. The activists, the advocates on Skid Row, Brother DJ, General Jeff, Pete White and L.A. Can, you know, many more, Pastor Q, right? They're down there and they're doing things and they're getting results. Right? There's rooftop gardening. They're feeding people healthy food. You know, I hear them say we're grateful for what people do for Skid Row and our homeless population and going out and feeding them. But a lot of times the food is economically based and not health based. So it's a lot of potatoes, potato chips and different things. But they're really taking this to a whole nother level down there. And so when you talk about transitional living, right, and affordable housing, that can help stave off our people even having to get there. And you're talking about for young men and women. Break that down.
Well,
yes, ma'am. If you go to nationtownstore.com, at the very...
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Ma'am. I'm talking to myself over here.
Okay. At the very bottom, it has a feature where you can click and donate to that cause. It's called AYO. And the AYO movement basically means accept your own.
Come on.
And not only accept your own in the context that we're talking about the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad of accepting your own and being yourself, which has a deep meaning. But accept your own is in accept your own people.
Wow.
And that's one of our big detriments. We don't accept our own people. We see them in their condition and we just say, you know, man, thank God it ain't me. But in reality, that is you. You know, that brother that's under that bridge, that sister that's, you know, homeless with her children, you know, the men in her life have abandoned her. That's your sister. That's you. So Accept Your Own is a program that we're getting off the ground. What we want to see in Los Angeles is, unfortunately, the homelessness.
Is.
Yeah, one thing I'm realizing to our homeless brothers and sisters, ones that you quickly pigeonhole, brother, he started getting high and now look at him.
Come on.
But you don't know the circumstances that led to him picking up the pipe.
That's right.
Picking up the needle. And we have a lot of brothers and sisters who are coming out of the prison system.
Yes.
Now, we're on the tail end of the prison industrial complex that Bill Clinton.
That's right.
Let me say that again.
Come
Bill
on.
Clinton.
Your first black president.
Come on.
What a horrible statement.
Come on.
Yeah.
Mr. Saxophone. He really exploded that complex, and now we're starting to see, by the grace of Allah, a lot of those brothers and some sisters come home, but they're coming. What are they coming home to? Their families have moved on without them. They don't have. They don't have the resources that they need. And where they go is that they go to the nickel, as they call it. They go to Skid Row, and it becomes a log jam. And Skid Row is actually growing. The terror of Skid Row is actually the scourge of Skid Row. The situation is growing and getting worse. So, we have to have as many opportunities as possible for our brothers and sisters when they come out of that world, and when they decide to come out of whatever drug habit they may have.
Yeah.
Whenever they find, a lot of times what keeps people homeless is the financial struggle.
Yeah.
Is a lot of them are actually trying.
It's a spider's web.
Yeah, they're actually trying to get up and do something with themselves, but then they hit another, pitfall, and then a lot of times that brings them back to whatever, substance abuse they were struggling with, or it brings them back to the prison system. They call it recidivism. So it's like...
It's designed that way.
Yeah, something's got to be there to catch them. As soon as they get the right idea of, let me do better for myself, there has to be a stair step that they can go up. If there's not, then they're only going to go down. Yeah,
that's something sincere, someone there, like real viable programs, services, resources, money, wraparound.
Absolutely.
The system, I feel, is designed that way. And Minister Farrakhan has a message called the spider's web, and we talk about the spider being able to catch lightweight creatures.
Right.
Pardon me. Of course, it's on the spiritual level, but also when we talk about this physical plane that we're living in, and my brother DJ General Jeff really breaks this down in his conversation. And we got to have you back on, Brother General. But what we talk about often is how, just imagine right now the ideas that people who have come up out of homelessness, right?
That's right.
That know what it's like to be in the situation and how to climb out and how to best serve them, because they're from that population. They have the right ideas. Right. They just need the money and the backing. So let's say they get the money and the backing and it's eradicated. What happens to all of those thousands of people employed by that, right?
Right.
Then what? They're flipped up to be homeless? See? Right. The system really feeds this. The policing downtown that's taking place, like the mispolicing, I would like to say, or the aggressive tactics, the harassment and things that they experience. I'm not talking about the policing that actually does serve, but I'm talking about the rogue policing. What happens to their money, those squads? Just like gang violence, so-called, and other things. If we really get rid of those things, which we will, because they will not be existing in the kingdom. But what happens to people who feed off of that?
Right.
And that's exactly why when we say Nation Town, we don't mean USA 2.0. Let's just black United States of America. No, we had to destroy that mind and their policies, and we had to do something completely different.
Right.
And we can't, go to our people and that are fresh out of jail and who are on Skid Row and say, oh, here's a Quran. Oh, here's a final call. And their stomachs are growling. And they're trying to figure out where I'm going to sleep tonight, or what I'm going to use this paper as a blanket.
Final call.
We have to address their needs.
Yes.
We have to address their base needs that we should all have as, just humans that Allah God gave us. But in this world, in this society, you have to have money and you have to have influence. So we have to address those needs first, and then we can come to them and, give them some type of teaching, give them some training that's going to help them to elevate. Right. But we have to get them stabilized first.
That's right.
We have to stabilize our people,
And then,
Right. And the messenger says, my best followers are in the streets.
Yes, in the streets.
And
Absolutely.
we need to go after them because
right.
a large amount of them are in those streets, are in Skid Row, are going to be birthed into that. And we need to be the saviors. We need to be the standard bearers of what a new nation looks like. Not a new USA with the same policies, but black faces orchestrating them. So, we are striving to, really raise up a government under God.
That's right.
Real
freedom, universal peace,
justice, and equality.
Yeah, for everyone. For everyone.
No matter race, creed,
class, color. That's right. That's right. People are responding so much to you all. Cephas X Johnson, Assalamu alaikum, Uncle Bobby. He says, who can afford $1,500 to $3,000 every 30 days and 28 days in February? He says the rent is the devil.
That's real.
The landlord. Oh my God, Nabiha. I'm sorry, Sister Beachy says, who can afford $1,800 to $35 every 30 to 31 days? It is inhumane to oppress the people in such a manner. Rent under the enemy is the devil. El Kamara says that homes are where jobs go to after work. We have to materialize Muhammad's economic blueprint. I want to read something else, and I want to pull the blueprint as you both continue. El Kamara Muhammad, Assalamu alaikum, everyone says, San Francisco and Oakland will shock you too. He was, El Kamara was told last week about homeless tents down the street from the White House and around federal buildings. Oh, absolutely. Look at downtown LA. Right under all these beautiful buildings. They can't hide the impact of income, wealth, inequality, and the decimation of the middle class. Absolutely. This is all absolutely true. Continue to tell us more about the affordable transitional housing, and I want to pull up the economic blueprint so we can lay that out for people who want to do something, and it's something that we can do. Yes.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you're going to pull up the blueprint because that's the foundation of it. One thing that I think we overlook when it comes to separation, when it comes to reparations, when it comes to us just doing better economically, the first thing that comes to our mind, which is a good idea, is, okay, businesses. Who's going to start this business? Who's going to start that business? But what we don't understand or what we overlook is our consumer habits. There's power in our there's power right now in our consumer habits.
Absolutely.
$1.3 trillion of spending power. Now you have individuals who say, well, a lot of that goes to rent and transportation. Okay, well, even if you want to play that game, we need to own more land. So we're renting to each other.
Yeah.
And we can make the rules as far as, how much the rent is going to be.
Yeah.
But the majority of that is actually our spending habits and who we're spending with and where we're spending it.
Exactly.
The black dollar only lasts 6 hours in our community, where it lasts days and months in everyone else's community. That circulation has to change. There was a invention back in the 1800s called a water turbine. And a water turbine, all it did was a contraption that they set in the river, and it generated energy based on the flow of the river. The river had been flowing in that direction for trillions of years. But they just stuck a contraption in the water that built energy or produced energy just based on the water and the way it was already flowing. So if we just change the way we spend the money right now, and here's what I mean by changing. Who are you spending it with, and where are you spending it? Those are the two questions we got to ask ourselves every time we spend money. Are we spending with our own? And are we spending in our own neighborhood? Those two things immediately change the economic conditions around you. And then this is something that I researched that blew my mind. Outside of the federal and state governments, do you know that black-owned businesses are the number one employers of black people? The number one employers of black people outside of federal and state government. So And when you increase, if we were all to increase our black dollar spending in our communities and with black businesses by just 10%, like if you normally spend $1 a day on black businesses and you bump that up to $1 and a dime, and we all did that, do you know that would increase? That would actually add 1 million black jobs.
Wow.
Come on.
Immediately. I mean, just like that.
Wow.
So our consumer, now everybody does not have the resources to start a business tomorrow. You know, I asked a question one night. I said, raise your hands if you started a business last week. And, of course, nobody raised their hand. Even those who are entrepreneurs couldn't raise their hand because they didn't start a business last week. Then I asked the question, how many of you spent money last week? And, of course, everybody's hands went up. So if we just change the direction in which we spend our money,
That's right.
then that would change so much overnight. And then that would create an actual, I don't want to use this word because people hate it so much, but a tax base.
Yeah, but it's real.
Yeah, and one thing that's happening that really scares a lot of our people from separation is that a lot of us are tethered to the current power structure through welfare programs and through certain subsidized housing. We have to be able to do that ourselves, but that's only going to come when our business owners and our better minds have the tax base or the money base to actually do those things. And that's where the economic blueprint comes in, because that's a beautiful idea and system that we have in the Nation of Islam, given to us by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and carried on by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Well, let me lay it out.
Go ahead.
I'm going to lay it out, okay?
Yes, right.
Thank you for that. That is very poignant what you said. And you know, Brother Landon, it begins with the thought.
Absolutely.
Which goes
That's
back to
right.
what your beautiful wife, my sister, is saying. You know, we have to present something. We don't have to condemn what is happening or what's there. We just have to put the clean glass
That's
next to
right.
it and let the
That's
people
right.
choose. But if we don't make it known, woe to us.
That's real. That's real.
Woe to us if we don't say this is here and it's yours too.
That's
you know, and then let them decide. The economic blueprint. So I want to read a little bit from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, finalcall.com. This is from Message to the Black Man, and he talks about how, as we know, America faces a serious economic problem today, and he says that the white racist Christianity cannot solve it. So you, the so-called American Negro, with the help of Allah, can solve your own problem. So he lays out in Message to the Black Man the economic blueprint. And he says, acknowledge and recognize that you are a member of the Creator's nation and act accordingly. Sounds like an instruction to me.
That's right.
Okay. Acknowledge and realize that you are a member of the Creator's nation and act accordingly. This action in the name of Allah requires you as a Muslim to set an example for the lost found, your brothers in the wilderness of North America. This requires actions and deeds, not words and lip service. Ooh, sucky. Okay. The following, God, the messenger got me here.
I know, right?
That instruction, I'm like, am I on it? The following blueprint shows the way. Number 1, recognize the necessity for unity and group operation activities. Pool your resources physically as well as financially. Right. Stop wanton criticisms of everything that is black owned and black operated. Pause. I want to really give the definition of wanton right here, because we don't mean wonton soup. No pun intended. Right. Wonton, of cruel or violent action, deliberate, unprovoked. So that's just not even asked about it. You just volunteering the criticism. Okay, so stop that, he says. Stop wanton criticisms of everything that is black owned and black operated. Number 4, keep in mind, jealousy destroys from within.
Come on.
And number 5, we talked about earlier, and repetition is good. Observe the operations of the white man. He is successful. He makes no excuses for his failures. He works hard in a collective manner. You do the same. And so now the Honorable Elijah Muhammad lifted the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, one and the same. I'm just like, lifted the economic blueprint and gave it to us in a way that we could really, even the least of the least, a baby has this much, can pick it up off the carpet while they're playing, right? The economic blueprint, which is at economicblueprint.org. economicblueprint.org. He says, what if our future could change with just nickels and dimes?
Come on.
Everyone can give 35 cents a week as an investment in their future. It would be painless. And here is how it goes. It works this way. Donate as little as 5 cents a day. That's 35 cents a week, along with others. We'll securely process your donation and provide you a record of your transaction. Now, will that happen? We know it will happen because
absolutely.
the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan did what after the Million Man March?
He gave his vow on his life, didn't he?
Exactly. And he produced with a
the receipts.
professional, accounting firm,
Right.
an accounting of every dime collected, every
dime in
penny collected at the Million Man March. And that is on the internet right now today. Who
That's right.
does that, right?
Come on.
Who has done that? No one except for the Nation of Islam under the minister, right?
That's right.
Your donation, along with others, will be safeguarded in the national treasury. Will the nation safeguard that?
Yes, ma'am.
Better believe it. Collectively, our donations grow to purchase land and finance projects that benefit us all. So 5 cents a day times, at that time, 16 million wage earners equals $291 million in 1 year. That's the economic blueprint. More at economicblueprint.org. Brother Landon, Sister Jana Joy, close us out. Your remarks.
Yes, ma'am. You wanna go ahead?
Well, I just want to say, we're so grateful again to be here. We're grateful. This is a nation town right here.
Yeah.
That's real. That's
we're
real.
all popping up, and we're blessed to have a teaching that allows us to know that, a nation town, it deals with so much, not just financial, not just with housing. And that's why we're trying to touch on all types of different areas. You spoke about, relationships. A nation is based off of strong families, so we're striving, starting with self to build up our little nation town so that, we can grow into a full-fledged, nation town out of our little microcosm and grow that macrocosm that we'll see thriving throughout the nation that we're in, this nation within a nation. So please, everyone, go to Nation Town TV on Facebook. We're also on Instagram. Go to our YouTube page, download the Mosque Number 27 app, and just stay connected with your Nation of Islam. Stay connected with those who have your best interests at heart. And let's all build together so that we can live and thrive together, and so that our children don't have to suffer through the same oppression and injustice that we have, and our parents and
Come on, right.
I second everything she said, first and foremost. And I really want to just hammer down on the aspect of changing the way we go as far as our consumer habits. That's the power that we have right now. You don't have to register for LLC. You don't have to go start a brick and mortar company.
Right.
You don't have to find a product. You already have spending habits. And where is that money going? Who is it going to? That was the seed that gave us all of those black towns during Reconstruction, including Black Wall Street. That was the seed.
Why you keep looking at her? Because she got the spending habits.
That
No,
part.
just messing.
No, but yeah, whatever money that you're already spending, ask yourself, because there's somebody, I guarantee you, right now in America, somewhere in America, there's a brother or a sister somewhere who's thinking very true but negative thoughts about the power structure of this country, white people, white supremacy, and why they thinking this, they got Popeye's chicken in their mouth. Why they thinking that, they're on their way to a mall that's on the other side of town.
To get in the line for the Nike.
To get in line for the new Jordans that really aren't new. They actually came out 30 years ago, but they just microwaved them and brought them back out. See, we have to, and also, and I'll close with this. If you have a problem with your consumer habits and you just have that wanton criticism of black businesses, at least keep that same energy when you are spending your dollar outside of your community or with people who are outside of your community. Keep the same energy. Be just as critical of their businesses. Ask them what they believe. Sometimes people don't want to support a certain group or something because of their religious beliefs or whatever the case may be. Do that when you go to Macy's. Go ask, what does the CEO of Macy's believe? Ask him what he thinks about Jesus. Go ask Phil Knight, the former founder and CEO of Nike. Ask him what he believes as far as Jesus. We all love Jesus so much. I know I do.
That's right.
Ask them what they think about Jesus. Just keep that same energy. And when they mistreat you, when I'm talking about that real mistreatment, that Negro get out my stove, type of treatment that still happens today. Not, oh, they shorted me a pack of hot sauce. That's the kind of things we complain about in black businesses. Right. But when they give you that real mistreatment, do them like you would a black business and say, I'll never go there again. I'm not even going to shop in that whole shopping center. I'm just going to spend my money at home. So, either keep that same energy or at least redirect your consumer habits and watch your community change around you instantly.
Thank you, brother. You know what I hear you saying is we are not powerless.
Come on.
Right.
We've got the power. We absolutely do. So I want to thank you, Nation Town, for being here. You're so beautiful. Just graced the place. The viewers loved you. We love you, and you must come back.
Oh, yes.
And
yes,
I think
ma'am.
we were on Love in Black with Student Minister Nuri. And
Yes,
woo,
yes,
catch
ma'am.
that.
Yes,
Love
we
in
tore
Black with Student Minister Nuri Muhammad on NFA Studios.
Yes.
Good job. Well done. We're going to get out of here today. I'm Sister Charlene Muhammad. Thank you for tuning in. Our guests were Brother Landon X. Collins, his wife, Sister Shauna Joy X of Nation Town. You can support them. I wanted to put something on the, I'll put it. Oh, I wanted to say this. In the spirit of today's show, if you have a business, you're a black business owner, you have a service, put that in the thread and let's let the viewers support you. Put that right in the thread here on the Facebook page or at the YouTube show, okay? So that's it for today. Thank you so much and happy 5-year anniversary, Sister Felicia, the Poetess Morris and Morris Media Studios.
Many more.
You can watch Liberated Sisters this Friday at 8 a.m. on Radio Justice. That's radiojustice.org. And every Saturday at 8 a.m. Liberated Sisters on 90.7 FM, kpfk.org. I'm Sister Charlene Muhammad saying if it's impacting our community or can uplift us as a people, let's talk about it. Peace.